The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
People back on my channel. Check the things, it's still on.
Lord, what is this? Not again.
PP I could kill, must see one blood. Why y'all keep cutting people carrying off? PP I could kill, must see one blood. Why y'all keep cutting people carrying off? Y'all clowning and skylarking with the power over here. Always blaming little bit of lightning with a little splash, a little rain. People carrying was
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Thursday, the 16th of July, 2026, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. is on the ground. Mango's still coming, mind you. The midsummer to late summer mangoes coming in. But Gnep is on the ground. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about plenty of the things you could do with Gnep and thyme and local produce to keep your body cool this summer. Let's get this show started. Calling all football fans. Join us at Nassau Cruiseport for the FIFA World Cup final on Sunday, July 19th. Gates open at 1 p.m. with kickoff at 3 p.m. Cheer on your favorite team while enjoying the match on the big screen. Visit Nassau Cruiseport on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn for more information. Also, Guardian Radio and the Guardian Media Group want to send you away for the summer with the Great Summer Escape Giveaway. You could win a trip for two, including hotel, car, luggage, and $1,000 cash. All you need is your passport. Just get a Nassau Guardian newspaper, fill out the entry form, drop it in the entry box at the Nassau Guardian in Oaksfield, and tune into Guardian Radio and follow the Nassau Guardian on all social media platforms for your chance to win. Again, a trip for two, including hotel, car, luggage, and $1,000 cash. The Guardian Media Group Great Summer Escape Giveaway. Deadline to enter August 12th, drawing August 14th. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to call it an open line this morning. There's so much to talk about. Here are the three stories I have prepared from yesterday. Golden Gates MP on BPL outages. Gaming board notice. Nygaard convicted of assault after using Bahamas as lure. L-U-R-E. And I think the top story, yesterday the headline was breaking news. I think we see it in the inside of today's paper. I'm not sure why it's on the inside, but we're going to look at the Nassau Guardian, page 2. Woman jumps from bridge. A 31-year-old woman recently discharged from Sandilands Rehabilitation Center jumped from the Sidney Poitier Bridge yesterday morning in what police suspect was an attempted suicide. Police received information shortly after 11:20 a.m. that a woman had leaped from the bridge, prompting officers to go to the scene. Upon arrival, officers from the Paradise Island Division were directed to Porter's Key Dock, where the woman was reportedly found aboard a vessel. At the dock, officers encountered the woman who was barefoot, dressed in a black and gray dress, and wrapped in a white sheet, receiving aid from emergency medical services personnel. Investigations indicate that the woman had recently left Sandilands Rehabilitation Center and had reportedly stopped taking her prescribed medication. She was taken to the hospital for further medical treatment and evaluation after complaining of pain in her lower extremities. It's a very sad story. We are glad that she survived the jump, even if she feels she may not survive this life. But I want to talk about something specific in this. She was recently released from Sandilands Rehabilitation Center and had reportedly stopped taking her prescribed medication. So we start off understanding that we cannot force someone to take medication outside of a court order. And those things are considered very seriously, right? It's not a trite or trivial decision to be made. The decision to mandate through a court order that somebody take their medication is a very serious undertaking. And then there are all kinds of dynamics. So I think typically somebody who may be mandated to take medication may be mandated to stay within the facility under the care of the facility, who then directs the medication regimen, right? If we understand that when people leave the facility, it's not necessarily because they are, quote unquote, completely and totally healed. Do we have a protocol that mandates follow-up? So an officer, a staff member is assigned to this former client of the facility to track them, not to force them to take their medication, but to track them like a regular welfare check to determine whether they're taking their medication or not, and if there are any options available through protocol or law that will enable them to re-institutionalize the individual for the purpose of an assessment, right? Whether we need to change the legislation to make this possible, that upon a welfare check, a designated officer may determine that the individual may require further institutionalization or temporary institutionalization for the purpose of a health assessment. And the first thing people will say, that costs money. Yes, it does cost money. You know what costs money? Independence celebrations. They cost money. Unfortunately, we don't know how much money they cost. So we can't do a cost analysis to determine whether the money spent on various independence celebrations would have been better spent on properly resourcing an institution like the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center so that they can better serve their clients. For me, right, this question of the tension between the diaspora and citizens in country, this tension requires great examination, and perhaps the independence celebration is the most appropriate space to discuss it, right? Because the people who need medical and psychological care, they need it, not just for their personal health and wellness, but for public safety and the public good, right? Like, they don't care, and you could put me in there as well. We don't care about fashion shows in London, right? We don't care about a choir going up for the 50th independence celebration and being put up in the Savoy. The families of these people, they don't care about those things. They care whether the country has sufficient safety net so that the family members can continue to live and contribute to society and the development of the country, knowing that systems are in place to recognize need and to fill it. I'm afraid nobody's paying attention to the soul of the nation. So see, the soul of the nation is the country. A nation is a political construct. And a country is a social construct. Who's taking care of the people? You know, the people who have to pay the taxes. The people who have to pay the taxes so everything can run. Here's a text. If BGC has no employees and no pike, what are we paying them to do when we say manage T&D network? Well, BGC must have, hold on, somebody told you they don't have any employees? Is that how the relationship is structured? BGC has no employees, they only give instructions to BPL employees? And I find great clarity when we discuss these things at the corner of CI 1622 Avenue and Frank Watson Boulevard. Here's another text. Erin, there should be a caregiver or medical assistant to aid with Sandilands patients. It's sad how persons get opportunities to attempt or commit suicide. Well, no, the problem here is that this person had been released from the facility, right? Once you're released from the facility, the staff at the facility have no legal obligation to the individual, or if they do, it is minimal, right? Or it's not the same as if they were a client in the institution. So I think we need a legislative change, right? Where we create a protocol that anybody who has been released, especially if they've been released with medication, should be subject to regular welfare checks, right? And then those people responsible for the welfare checks should understand that although the policy may require the person to check in on a regular basis, the fact that they don't check in is a clear indication that they need a welfare check. Like, you have to go and find them, right? And so we probably will need legislative change to create a legal obligation to the client once they leave the facility. But, right, yes, a caregiver or medical assistant should be assigned to the person. It's just a question of how will that work once they have been released from the facility. Here's another text. Good morning, Ms. Greene. People don't understand that a person who has a mental defect rights need to be doubly protected. Absolutely. Because they don't have the capacity to understand their fundamental rights during an episode. Therefore, it's very important to do right by persons with challenges. Yeah, listen, absolutely, right? Absolutely. A person who is suffering, we call a mental break or a psychotic episode, or is sort of, I don't want to say stuck, but they are having some sort of episode connected to their psychological health. Those people are vulnerable. They're not, quote unquote, in the right state of mind. They're vulnerable. And so we have a duty of care to them, to not take advantage of them and to ensure that nobody else is taking advantage of them. Another text. BC has the workers. Remember, none of them chose to transfer employment. See, thank you, Texter, for that clarity. Although I'm not sure if anything is ever going to be clear ever again about BEC and BPL. See, we already weren't clear. None of us I'm sure including the vast majority of cabinet ministers and MPs, have never been pellucidly clear about the relationship between BEC and BPL. And now, old people you gotta pick something out of something. Anyway, now we gotta pick through the lack of coherency, right, and the lack of transparency to figure out what is the relationship now between BPL and Bahama Grid Company, and BPL, Bahama Grid Company, and BEC. We still don't know absolutely what happened with Island Grid Solutions, why this special purpose vehicle that was composed of Island Grid Solution and BPL is now just BGC. We have no idea, which is why today's headline, Minister Raises BPL Concerns, is concerning. There's also a letter to the editor, I think it is today's Guardian, the PLP's power failure. On Tuesday, Golden Gate's MP Pia Glover-Roll wrote a Facebook post to her frustrated constituents acknowledging their suffering and explaining she had demanded answers from Bahamas Power and Light as the company struggles with daily outages throughout the nation, particularly on New Providence. That's the first paragraph of today's letter to the editor in The Guardian. And already people are pointing out, signaling Pia Glover-Roll as a prime ministerial candidate for this bold move of challenging the political machinery. Oh, no, wait, no, she didn't do that. Challenging BPL, right, on the state of electricity generation and provision in the country. A hero's move. Yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe, I guess. Why didn't she demand, I won't read it, let me go back to the thing. I won't read it exactly. Why didn't she demand answers from her cabinet colleague individual, JoBeth Colby Davis, who is responsible for the entity? Why did she not demand answers from the other equals among equals in the cabinet room, at the cabinet table? Why didn't she demand that those that have the power to make Bahamas Power and Light speak do so? Like, why you didn't chafe up JoBeth Colby Davis on behalf of your constituents? Why you didn't threaten to break up the cabinet table if you don't get a coherent and transparent answer to give to your people? I mean, does this negate the gaze, the vision that she may be a great prime ministerial candidate? No, not at all, because that's what prime ministers do. They obfuscate. They obfuscate. You know what that mean? That mean you pretend to be answering, but you ain't giving no real answer. You all know, because sometimes that's how your children is try to talk to you, and plenty times that's how you try to talk to your children. We know. I got a text here that says, I doubt Colby Davis would give any answers to Glover-Roll. Davis has a very poor record of responding to questions. I changed it for the text. They say she has a very poor attitude. I don't know. She's always smiling, except for that one time when the reporter asked her that question. Knowing the professionalism of Glover-Roll, this public statement was likely her last resort. Do you ever get a mental image? All the time. Here's the thing, right? And I guess the texter says it perfectly. Knowing her professionalism, the public statement was likely her last resort. And I think what the text is saying is she ain't going to challenge her cabinet colleagues in that manner in the public because she's a professional politician. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
A pleasant good morning, Miss Greene.
Hi, good morning.
You know, Miss Greene, I could understand depression very well
Oh,
in regards to what the lady did from the bridge. Sorry to hear about that, whatever she's going through. But as a young boy at 15, I lost my mother to her death. My father was a bartender, always gone. My only brother was up at Howard University, Washington, studying to be a civil engineer. God bless, is dead, and my father died too. My only sister spent most of her time with my cousins. It left me alone as a 15-year-old guy growing up in the Valley Boys, putting myself through school all the way to the Government High, and hanging out mostly with the Valley Boys, Shack and Junkanoo. From then, after leaving Government High, I got involved with guys and working at Deltic International. And as a young 25-year-old man, I thought that getting married, I was infatuated, would bring me into a family to start off another new life. That ended in 8 years in a divorce, which left my ex-wife with the kids being young, and the judge them determined that the young kids would stay with the mother. That left me alone again, and depression set in. Then I had a young boy born to another lady, and she left the boy on my doorstep when he was 4 years old. Now, I'm a young man bringing up a young 4-year-old boy by myself in Seabreeze, a bachelor. He's now 32 in Canada, studying to be a pilot. And I'm left alone again. But at my first son's funeral, he was killed in 1996 on Shirley Street in an accident. At his funeral, I saw the gentleman that was responsible for his death. There was a young lady that took me to the funeral, and I sat in the front. And I saw the young man sitting crossed in the front with his family, and I got up. The lady that accompanied me to the funeral, she knew that I was going to do something stupid in St. Matthew's Church. She stood up and she held my hand and walked me out of the church. I told her, walk me to the bridge. I'll walk over to Sidney Forger Bridge, come over the new bridge, sit at Hammerheads, and have a beer. Let her call me when they bring in the coffin out. Wow. When I reached the top of Sidney Poitier Bridge, depression set in. I was thinking about doing the same thing that woman did, but I say, hey, maybe the Henneken was a little better. Let me go drink the Henneken. I went over there. She came and called me, said, they're bringing him out. I came to the graveside, and I held on to that coffin till it disappeared. His name is Kishon.
thank you, Sparky. Thank you. I hope at the least people can see themselves through your personal experience, Sparky. Let's prep the next caller. Caller, please. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still there? I am sorry that I missed you, caller. This is very interesting, right? Like, I think it's just too late. It's too late, right? Because here's what happens when you, as an MP, make this public statement that you are doing your darndest to represent your constituents, right? But at the same time, cabinet is equal among equals. You're equally responsible for the decisions that the Minister of Energy makes. You're equally responsible for the things that cabinet gets done and doesn't get done, right? Like, it's so savvy, but it's a blame you can't shift. This statement as an MP does nothing to absolve your obligation or your complicity as a cabinet minister. Let's go to the phone line, producer. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Erin.
Hi, good morning.
I think there are quite a number of individuals who have been recently released from Sunderland.
Mm-hmm.
Because driving home, I met one. She was 3/4 of the way in the middle of the road. She only be about, I would say, about 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, young lady, you have to walk on the side of the road. She said, mister, could you show me where urban renewal is?
Mm-hmm.
And she had this paper, and the writing on the paper was very, very large, printed. Now, I was tempted to give her a ride there, but I said, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I pointed her in the direction. So I'm advising the public, you may see these people who don't know their way, and they need assistance, okay?
Yeah.
So just graciously assist them. Now, Miss Jobette Colby and the minister, I don't know if that would have gone down too good if she had approached them in Parliament on this matter. So I think she's just trying to respond to the pressure from her constituents. And I think that's a good start, but I want all of them now to take it a little further and don't be bowing down to any force other than the constituents. Let the constituents see that you are really serious about addressing their issues and challenge the government on their behalf. And I hope that continues more.
Right? And I hope, because I bet you there's somebody who's telling them, listen, in cabinet, it's not your job to represent the issues of your constituents. That's what you do in the House of Assembly. In cabinet, it's your job to represent the issues of your ministry, right? I saw somebody telling them that. But listen, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
The pressure is tall, like the BPL bill. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You there? Good morning, caller. Oh, man. I don't know what's going on with those lines. Let's try again. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great. Let me ask you a question. I don't know much about how the whole system is run, but do you think it's possible that there is a Mrs. Davis would have done all she could have done pertaining to BPL and all of that, but there is a stoppage permit possibly at the leadership of the company. Sometimes they're pushing back, and she's not able to do all that she could do, and so hence the letter to the company.
I got you. So, right, like
I'll hang up.
Right. Don't go. Why are you going? I love that question. So, it's that Davis has convinced, rightly so, if that's true, Glover Roll, that you're right, I'm doing everything I could do here where the issues lie, which is why Glover Roll then directed, and she got 4 questions, right? Like, they're good questions. Right? I'm going to try to find them so I could read them. Right? Here we go. The good questions. I can find them. There are 4 issues, right? She said that she wrote to constituents about. And that's a good thing. Here's my thing and my assessment of the Minister of Energy, right? The critique is not about the inability to provide the electricity. The critique is about the confidence with which the minister spoke leading into the summer about what we can expect for power supply. See, I think the critique is that the minister mixed politics with governance, right? And the politics caused her to speak too strongly. And she couldn't provide what it is she touted. And see, it's not just a matter of what she touted. Between the minister and the prime minister, they responded to virtually every question and critique with this haughty attitude. In some instances with derision. That's when you're talking to somebody and you dislike them so much you can't even stop the spit from coming out your mouth, right? The prime minister called people stupid and incompetent when they were asking simple questions that should have been answered simply. And so the big uproar and the critique is, this is not the summer you told us to expect. So don't turn around now and tell us, well, what happened? You all didn't expect growing pains? No. In fact, you campaigned on the success of the new era of energy reform. You campaigned on it. And as the thing was falling apart, and never once has somebody come out and truly apologized for the full extent of obfuscation and tomfoolery that the people have been put through. Here's why. Because if people were given the straight, if they were given the truth about what to expect, plenty of these people would have invested their money in alternate power solutions as opposed to trips and excursions. The people would have told y'all, scale back on every public and semi-public government event, scale back on all of them, because the people are going to need help. You're going to need to subsidize them for this summer that you dragged them into. That's, I think, the brunt of the critique. But I wish you were still on the call, young lady. If you get a chance, call back. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You there? Sorry, I miss you. It is be me. Sometimes, let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Ms. Greene. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, Ms. Greene. Just quickly on the one or two things you mentioned, and then I just want to, these are open lines, want to say something. But as it relates to the minister, Mom, that was only to appease her constituents. I mean, that letter was, unless Ms. Glover has, like, some power, some authority that demands that she gets answers when she asks for them, that's just to appease her constituents, so she could say, you see, you all been through that power audit, so you see, you can't say I didn't do nothing. Remember when I read that letter? Mm-hmm. You understand? Yeah. That's all it is. And it's a shame that we are getting caught up in the whole thing about it, that is making it like a nationwide conversation about it. You know what I mean? That letter that means absolutely nothing. But when it comes to medication, Ms. Greene, I don't feel as if everyone might require medicating. You know what I mean? Like sometimes might have a chemical imbalance that medications might be able to resolve, right? But I feel as if we live in a society where, like, you know what I mean, like a one stick, for everybody type thing. And the thing about it is that these drugs that we are giving our citizens, right? We don't make these things. We don't really know about these things. We know maybe we just following protocols and procedures that we have adopted from other places in the world. And I think that's wrong.
Stick a pin.
I think
Hold on.
Sometimes
stick a pin. Let me just say this. So, what I discovered was that clinical trials for heart medication and like heart therapies did not include women until like the mid 90s, right? And so, to your point, if the people then didn't include women in the medical trials until the 90s, right? What about people of African descent? Not just that, did you know that they did not start testing feminine hygiene products with actual blood until like very recently, like only 20 years ago?
Interesting.
To your point.
So we as a people, we really need to try and see if we could come up with solutions to our own problems. You know what I mean? Because sometimes some of these same issues that individuals are prescribed medication for, like, you know what I mean? Like, one time ago, we used to call little things depression. You could talk to a family member you love and it over with. You know, the kind of way now we got to, those things are labeled as different things, and now they require drugs. You know what I mean? Right. You know, it's just we're becoming a sedated, medicated society, and that's crazy. But this is the thing I wanted to mention to Ms. Greene, seeing that open line thing. I recently found out about this herbicide. It's called atrazine, right? And it's banned in all of Europe. Right, it's banned in all of Europe for its disastrous effects on the environment and on human beings, right? And it's found in almost in a great
large number
amount of America's drinking water supply, right? But this pesticide, I want to find out if our government uses this, right? Atrazine, right? And if they use it, then I want us as a nation to demand that our government ban atrazine as it is banned in all of Europe because of the effects that atrazine has on the human being, and particularly the males, because there are studies that show that atrazine actually, they did some research, some studies on frogs, and it actually turned some frogs completely female, you know what I mean, where they were able to produce eggs and other things like that, and then it completely devastated other males in terms of, you know the kind of way. So we need to,
all right,
if our government is using this atrazine, and we need to ban it. And one more thing, Greene. seeing that they were talking about the water supply, there was a time when I told you that I had visited a primary school a few years ago, right? And I had drank some water from my bottles. I went to the water faucet to refill the bottle, right? And when I drank the water was unpalatable. I mean, the water tastes like poison. I couldn't even swallow it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm concerned, and I've been concerned. Are there water fountains still in school that children use to drink from?
And
Because
what's the
if
protocol?
So, that water that I tasted years ago is poison.
Okay, so
and
don't
if
go.
Our children, and if our children are consuming water from water faucets, I want to demand that the water is properly filtrated. You understand? Like, and safe to drink.
So
because water can have damaging effects on individuals. Thank you very much.
Don't go.
Atrazine, ban it. Ban atrazine.
Don't go.
All right, ma'am.
Don't go. Both issues, right? The question about atrazine and the question of access to safe, potable water in public schools for kids, right? Both important issues. You can't, I can say, call in the radio and demanding, you're not going to get much traction. But you start an organization, right? For the atrazine one, you start an organization and you got to do research and try and like a survey and figure out how many local farmers are using atrazine, right, for their farms. You got to find out then with the products, the produce is being brought into the country. You got to find their source and determine if any of the produce we're importing has been treated with the substance, so we could get.
Yes, ma'am. But I want to find out too, Ms. Greene, if our government itself,
right? Okay.
is using this.
So then you go to
BAMSI. If
BAMSI.
our government itself is using it, I want our government itself.
Okay, but
to stop using. But when I say demand, right, Ms. Greene, when I say demand, right, I'm using that like as a way to say that if we all say what I just said, that could happen.
Yep, no, but no, it ain't gonna happen. Listen, it ain't gonna happen if we all just say it. I just telling you
I
to
mean,
form.
when I say it, I don't mean just
form an organization.
I mean, like when we go to our government and be
forget going to your government and demanding anything. What more you could demand from them? You think they care? They don't care. What I'm telling you is, for both of these issues, which are great, like I appreciate how you identified, right, what your issue is and what you want to go at. You can form an organization and collect the data, verifiable data, because you got to bring it to the people. That's how you're going to get the people to join you in your demand. But the people need an organization, a structure that they could work with and around. And you got the ideas. I trying to tell you, I buy my muumuu. I turned 50, I buy my muumuu as an old woman now. I charging you. This is your job now, man. Because you thinking, right? Like, you are the person best suited to take it on because you are the person committed to it. Anyway, we go into a break. Thank you for those.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Greene.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other side of the break, you have a great day, cousin. On the other side of the break, I ain't looking for the article in The Guardian. I ain't see it yet, but in the business section of the Tribune, culture shock. Fair on gaming boards, web shop accounts usage cracked down. On the other side of the break, you guys stay tuned. On the clock, Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Boy, you know what's going down tomorrow?
No, boy, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Boy, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Penn. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody. I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Boy, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So what are the boy?
All you gotta do is call them or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info? And when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
No budget for a vacation this summer? No worries. We got you. Guardian Radio 96.9 will fly you and a guest to South Florida for a vacation of a lifetime. Our sweet summer escape gets you round-trip tickets on Bahamas Air. $1,000 spending cash, thanks to Percy's Island Games. Brand new luggage from Brass and Leather. 4 days and 3 nights at the beautiful Holiday Inn Express Plantation. Free car rental from Hertz, too. All you need is your passport. We got you covered. Enter now for the Guardian Radio 96.9 Sweet Summer Escape. Fill out the form in today's Nassau Guardian and follow us on all social media platforms. Remember, you must be 18 or older to enter. Entry deadline August 12th, drawing August 14th. Taxes not included and certain restrictions apply.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information.
Shop with ease using the digital Bahamian dollar. Sand Dollar is a convenient, safe, and secure way to pay for your goods at the grocery store. Just like physical cash, Sand Dollar is issued by Central Bank of the Bahamas. Download a Sand Dollar-enabled digital wallet today.
No budget for a vacation this summer? No worries. We got you. Guardian Radio 96.9 will fly you and a guest to South Florida for a vacation of a lifetime. Our sweet summer escape gets you round-trip tickets on Bahamas Air. $1,000 spending cash, thanks to Percy's Island Games. Brand new luggage from Brass and Leather. 4 days and 3 nights at the beautiful Holiday Inn Express Plantation. Free car rental from Hertz, too. All you need is your passport. We got you covered. Enter now for the Guardian Radio 96.9 Sweet Summer Escape. Fill out the form in today's Nassau Guardian and follow us on all social media platforms. Remember, you must be 18 or older to enter. Entry deadline August 12th, drawing August 14th. Taxes not included and certain restrictions apply.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Good morning. Welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. So I picked up this story yesterday, an Eyewitness News report. Gaming notice is the caption on their Facebook page. The Gaming Board is warning the public that accounts held with licensed gaming house operators must only be used for approved gaming-related purposes and not for other business or commercial activities. The board said accounts maintained with licensed gaming operators must not be used to receive or hold funds for any non-gaming purpose. It cautioned that using these accounts outside of their intended purpose may result in an investigation and possible regulatory action by the board. We had a moment of silence just now for all of the words that I could not allow out of my mouth. Let's start by saying this. This is hilarious. This is irony. This is irony, especially after the conversation that never actually took place about why the Prime Minister decided that now Leslie Miller Bryce and Sebas Bastian could be in the cabinet. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. So now y'all bring in some clarity to the vibe. Here's the next question. Have you sorted out the banking situation, right? Like, did you forget that you do have an obligation to provide equal and equitable access to all of the services in the country for everybody in the country wherever they are? So have you fixed the banking situation? Have you compelled your foreign entities in the country? Have you compelled them to operate in a way that is conducive to good governance and the public good and the quality of life that people should expect to enjoy in a country that ranks every year anywhere between the 4th highest and the 10th highest cost of living in the world? Not just the world, the universe. This ranking includes Mars and the moon, right? What have you done? Have you done anything? Let's go to the Tribune article, Culture Shock, Fair on Gaming Board's web shop accounts usage crackdown. Bahamian businesses and residents, especially those on remoter family islands, face a major, quote, culture shock, close quotes. That's what y'all call it? I call it a economic crisis. I put the A there because I was supposed to say for economic. And potential economic disruption if the Gaming Board makes good on its pledged crackdown on using web shops as alternative bank accounts. So the Gaming Board has teeth now. They have teeth. They could bite something. Mark A. Turnquist, founder of the 242 Small Business Association and Resource Center, and a well-known consultant to the sector, told Tribune Business that, quote, many, close quotes, companies and individuals have for years used web shop gaming accounts as alternatives to bank facilities for deposits, withdrawals, and moving money, especially between New Providence and far-flung family islands. Speaking after the Gaming Board in a July 14, 2026 notice, a July 14, 2026 notice warned that it may take, quote, further regulatory action, close quotes, against companies and individuals using web shop accounts for non-gaming purposes. He argued that, while such a crackdown should have happened much earlier, alternative solutions for facilitating family island commerce must be implemented before this practice is, quote, eliminated, close quotes. That's nice of them. Many businesses and residents, especially in the more southern islands, have struggled to maintain access to mainstream financial services. Producer, let's prep the caller. Financial services following the commercial bank exit from what are perceived as unprofitable, sparsely populated islands. Oh, so banking is not an essential service. Banking is not an essential service? Put up a notice, please. Put up a notice. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Greene. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How you do?
Good. I didn't call on this number thing. I was trying to get you from you was talking about with Miss Pia Glover and the letter that she had wrote to PC.
The MP versus the minister. That's what we call in the segment.
Okay, but my thing is that you think Miss Pia Glover just wake up one morning and just say, I can do this? You don't think she had already given the Minister of Energy the heads up? You don't even think she was maybe even giving the Prime Minister the heads up to say, boy, my people complaining, I have to defend my people. I can do this. So
Well, let me ask you a question. So why didn't she say, after numerous attempts to use my position as a minister to not only seek information but to seek relief from my constituents?
No. You misunderstood what I said.
No, I didn't misunderstand what you said at all.
I am saying that she called.
I know.
Ms. Colby and say, boy,
absolutely.
I have to do this one now.
What I asking you is, why didn't she reflect that in the letter? See, because she trying to show her constituents, right, that she got teeth. That some of these, hold on, some of these are...
Anybody that studied politics or knows of politics, that's we'll call that in politics a number one move.
So why she didn't get up? So what I'm saying is, if it's reasonable for us to think to speculate that you probably did touch your colleagues and say, hey, y'all ain't getting no traction on this, I need to speak on behalf of my constituents. Why do you think she didn't say in the letter to her constituents to show them that she got the teeth?
She didn't just put in no letter.
Why not?
She did it in person.
No,
she did it. They could see that.
Why she didn't?
They didn't need no letter.
Nobody could see it and hear it. Why she didn't say to them in the communication, I done chafe up Jobette Colby, you know. I done row in that cabinet office and I've not gotten sufficient answers.
So cabinet
I got to go to the people.
Are secret. So you can't really say a lot what happens in the cabinet.
That's what happened. Because that's the point.
She came out now.
Because that's the point I was making. Please and thank you. That's the point I'm making, right? It's nice and fine and dandy to see an MP with teeth snarling, growling, prepared to bite at your enemies. But then when you realize that when that MP goes into the cabinet office, somehow they lose all their teeth. They ain't got none in the cabinet office. But they could bark. Like, you know what I want to know? Did she write BGC or did she write BPL? Because you telling me that even the cabinet minister don't know how to get in contact with BGC? None of us know. We don't know how to get in contact with Bahama Grid Company. We don't know. You telling me she got all of this teeth, all of this bark, all of this bite as an MP. But in the cabinet minister, lie and leak a story, say, yeah, man, Glover Roll tripped Jobette Colby down in the cabinet room. Remember when the two cabinet ministers was fighting and they crack up the table? And they still ain't tell us how much it cost to replace the table, you know. I got to do that, got to put that story in the zine. Yeah, that's it. The MP versus the cabinet minister. Y'all, be safe out there. Don't get played. Don't get played, not even by the most savvy of prime ministerial candidates. She good, you know. And two things could be true at the same time. You guys have a great day. Okay, here's a text. It says, good morning, Miss Erin Conk Greene. So the people must send their money with a homing pigeon then? I don't know. Why would you? I send mine with raccoons. What do you think the old people used to do? How do you think they used to send message? And a sense of self, a sense of place, a sense of time. We got to have more cents than dollars, because right now we got more dollars than cents. You guys have a great day. Have a great day. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the